Thank you very much, Jan. Thank you, Mike. And the Scarlift video is absolutely interesting for all of us who work in this field because it really shows us where things began in the 70s in Pennsylvania and even before then. It's a very interesting historical perspective on what we do. Once again, my name is Andy McAllister from Whip Camera, the Western Pennsylvania Coalition for Abandoned Mine Reclamation. I want to again thank our sponsors, PADEP, PA Environmental Digest, the Foundation for Pennsylvania Watersheds, the Appalachian Region Independent Power Producers Association, also known as ARIPA, the PA Aggregates and Concrete Association, PACA, and Pagnotti Enterprises. Thank you all very much. I also want to always take the time to thank you, our attendees, for joining us on this two-day endeavor, 3 days if you're doing the workshop on Friday. I also want to mention that if you have questions for the Mayfly Award recipient that I will be talking about, please enter them in the Whova Q&A or chat to the right of the Zoom player that you're looking at. If you're on your phone, it would be below on the mobile app. And hold your phone or tablet in profile view to see the Q&A. We'll have a little bit of time to ask questions of the award recipient, time permitting, and we'll get the award recipient ready to go at that point in time. But until then, let me make a few comments here. The Mayfly Award itself, if you're not familiar with it and you're coming from another state, or if you're even in our state and you're not familiar with it, it recognizes individuals who have dedicated a lifetime of knowledge and expertise to the reclamation of abandoned mines in Pennsylvania. Now, the committee back in 2007 selected the Mayfly as a symbol for this award because of its presence in the stream that signifies good quality, clean water. So that's the basis for the Mayfly Award. We've been giving this out since 2007. And if you go to treatminewater.com, you'll see more information about the Mayfly Award and who the past recipients have been. This year's recipient is recently retired from a watershed manager position, has spent the last 40 or so years overseeing and directing the design, construction, and operation maintenance of 20+ acid mine drainage treatment systems with both active and passive treatment technology. During this person's time at DEP, they also drafted, negotiated, and oversaw 20+ coal industry treatment trusts set up by private coal companies to generate the income necessary to pay for annual treatment costs. They also developed and administrated 20+ watershed restoration grant projects. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the 2021 PA AMR Conference Mayfly Award winner, Malcolm Crittenden. Now, here is his acceptance speech that we videotaped earlier. Ann, would you play that? And then we'll have Malcolm come on afterwards.
For the state of Pennsylvania. My main job as a watershed manager was to administer watershed grants, treat water at forfeited mine sites, and oversee large financial trusts set up to ensure perpetual treatment of mine discharges. So through a career of 41 years as a government regulator, I can now reflect and have observed changes in the abandoned mine reclamation movement. The main change is a shift in emphasis from land reclamation over to water treatment. Many of the land reclamation issues have been ably addressed through regulation and better reclamation practices. But water treatment poses a long-term, expensive environmental problem. Fortunately, the watershed movement brought this treatment focus down to the unit of individual watersheds at the local level, and successfully engaged not only environmentalists, but also hunters and fishermen. This watershed movement benefited from the fact that government regulators and coal industry workers also like to hunt and fish. And from these common interests sprung the effective partnering of all parties involved, from watershed groups to sportsman clubs, government experts to coal mine companies. The importance of abandoned mine reclamation ends up being both a product and a shared culture. And through partnering, we have created more cooperative culture between the affected parties like coal companies, government regulators, and watershed enthusiasts. All parties found themselves adding value to the infrastructure projects and the satisfaction of on-the-ground results. We often forget the major funding for abandoned mine reclamation projects is money that comes directly from the diligent and hard work of coal miners. In the end, it is the freedom to discuss, to innovate, to negotiate, to compete, to lobby, to appeal, to legislate, to adjudicate, to expect excellence. This intricate feedback system, which learns from mistakes and measures success, this broad freedom marks successful American enterprises such as abandoned mine reclamation and watershed restoration. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Malcolm, are you on there? Congratulations to you.
I can hear you, and thank you very much.
Do you have any other additional words to say along the way while you're here?
Well, I look back through the list of the previous recipients, and I was amazed at how many of these people I was able to work with. And so some of their magic must have rubbed off on me, because I learned a lot from these individuals. And one of my famous quotes is that everything I know, someone told me. So we have a lot of experts in Pennsylvania. It was an honor and a pleasure to work in this state alongside these experts. And also we rubbed shoulders with people in West Virginia, Maryland, Ohio, and we learned a lot, and we were able to apply a lot, and we were able to accomplish a lot.
Malcolm, I have to tell you, I've known you pretty much for the 15 years that I've been in Pennsylvania, here in Western Pennsylvania, at Whipcammer. It doesn't seem that long. But your work style, I have to say, I'm very appreciative of your work style, just like many of the other people at the department. It's very approachable. You were very easy to talk to. You were very common sense. And I suspect that was a very important aspect of how you dealt with your everyday questions and everyday projects. Is that true?
I think that was one of the secrets. I found that the most basic unit in Pennsylvania is the landowner. And once you respect the landowner, a lot of things start to happen. And I used to tell my landowners, you are the controlling interest, and we don't want to do anything that you're not happy with. And so when you start from that point, you're able to find out what the landowner's interests are and try to adjust your program to the most basic unit in Pennsylvania, the citizen.
Malcolm, we have a question in the Zoom chat box that turned up, and I found it here. What is the most significant development you witnessed to address in addressing AMD?
Well, I had the good fortune of working with techies, people that were well versed in geochemistry, and I came to the conclusion that maybe Pennsylvania and our neighboring states were leaders in that, even worldwide. And because of those technological breakthroughs, we were able to have more success in treating mine drainage efficiently.
Now, here's a question from myself, and I'm sure other people would like to know your opinion on this. What do you see as the most important, or several, if there are, important things to do in the coming years in our community to ensure AMR?
Well, we should talk to Joe Pizarczyk and John Dawes because they are spearheading that effort. They're working with state and federal legislatures to not only renew SMACRA funding of abandoned mine reclamation, but also the critical funding of an operation and maintenance trust. In other words, we've done good work, but we need to carry it forward into the future. And a lot of these sites, the majority of them, are worthy of being maintained into the future. And so that would be our most important item on the table at present.
And for those who are not familiar with John Dawes and Joe Pizarczyk's work as they work on now in Pennsylvania, go to Google PA-AML campaign, and it should bring you onto the Pennsylvania Abandoned Mine Lands Campaign webpage. Whipcammer and National Trout Unlimited are co-chairs of the campaign, and you can learn all about the campaign there and see educational videos with regard to SMACRA reauthorization. Again, SMACRA, we're big on acronyms in this business, but I just want to make sure everyone knows Surface Mining Control and Reclamation Act. That's where BAMR and a lot of other agencies in other states get their funding to do abandoned mine reclamation. So any questions for Malcolm at this point? If not,
Andy,
oh, here you go. Here you go.
One more that showed up.
I see it. I see it. What is your most memorable project you worked on throughout your career, Malcolm?
The one that's in my memory, which is not failing yet, is the project that we did at Flight 93, which was a huge PBS Coal Company surface and deep mine complex. And we had a lot of help from OSM, and the techies came in to help us, like Brent Means and people from the BAMR, the Pennsylvania Bureau, and we were able to treat large volumes of water at the Flight 93 park successfully and reduce our costs dramatically, which I wouldn't have thought of. But these people came to our aid, and we worked with them and were able to deploy these new technologies and have success.
We have a few extra minutes as we're moving along, so I have some more questions for you, Malcolm, and comments. The next person says, thank you for your commitment to AMD and the work you've accomplished. Over your career, what have been some of the most effective ways you have found to communicate about AMD?
Well, believe it or not, I did most of my communication at my computer terminal. And I, would email people. That was back in the age of emails, and spent a few hours between 4 o'clock and 6 o'clock tidying up all my emails. But yes, just any communication. If you keep the lines open, you can kind of push your project along, and eventually it gets completed. And I used to tell my boss, I'm not happy till it's done.
That's very admirable. Thank you. We have another question. Have you ever encountered resistance with landowner?
I was very surprised that 90%, more than 90% of my landowners were very cooperative. I had a few that got a little greedy, but not too much. And I know in other cases, landowners have been very resistant, and I'm not sure I could have changed their opinions, but in the counties I worked in, there were a lot of sportsmen and a lot of landowners who, had a sportsman outlook, and they were, willing to cooperate. But I always talked to them in person. I didn't send any letters. And I always told them, you're the controlling interest, and we don't want to do anything that you're not happy with. And I tried to start on that basis.
And it seems like that has been a very successful MO over the years for your work. Certainly people don't want to be talked down to, especially landowners. They, like you said, they are in charge of the land that they have for whatever period of time they're on this world, and they have the land. So it's an important thing to be able to work well with them, and we appreciate everything you've done. We have no other questions right now. So Ann, if you want to be able to show that other video, that would work out fine.
Dark as a Dungeon by Merle Travis. Come and listen, you fellas, so young and so fine, and seek not your fortune in the dark, dreary mines. It will form as a habit and a seep in your soul, till the blood in your veins runs as black as the coal. Where it's dark as a dungeon, damp as the dew, where the danger is double and the pleasures are few, where the rain never falls and the sun never shines, where it's dark as a dungeon way down in the mine. There is many a man I have known in my days that lived just to labor his whole life away, like a fiend with his dope and a drunkard his wine. A man will have lust for the lure of the mines, where it's dark as a dungeon and damp as the dew, where the danger is double and the pleasures are few, where the rain never falls and the sun never shines. Well, it's dark as a dungeon way down in the mines. Well, I hope when I die and the ages shall roll, my body will blacken and turn into coal. Then I'll stand by the door of my heavenly home, and I'll pity the miner a digging my bones, where it's dark as a dungeon and damp as the dew, where the danger is double and the pleasures are few, where the rain never falls and the sun never shines. Well, it's dark as a dungeon way down in the mines. Well, it's dark as a dungeon way down in the mines.
Oh my goodness, Malcolm, I never knew how talented you are.
Well,
That
you
was
just have to
awesome.
wake up and look in the mirror and laugh
You
at
have
yourself.
you have found your new calling in the Grand Ole Opry. I'll be seeing you down there in Tennessee. Oh, how wonderful. Everyone, if you could give Malcolm a virtual applause here, we'd appreciate it. That was wonderful. Thank you so much, Malcolm. Any other questions for Malcolm at this time? We'll take any more comments or questions. The one thing I do want to make, Chelsea Walker, you know her, says congratulations and well done, Malcolm. Cliff Denham says congratulations, well deserved. Now, the one thing that we do have is we have another Mayfly Award winner, but that will be tomorrow, correct? And Robert will moderate that award. So we're very fortunate to have some wonderful, dedicated people in what we do here. Here's another question for you, Malcolm, before we end. How did you decide on where to put sites and which landowners to talk to?
Well, most of our projects, the site is always downhill from the seep. And if you have room, you don't have too many choices. So you have an acre of land, and, you know, through the web, you could go to the courthouse in Somerset County and immediately find the landowner and find all the tax information, you know, and get a phone number and call him up. And then as quickly as you can, meet him personally. You have to meet him eye to eye because everybody assesses you in person. And if they trust you, then you're going to be able to do some business with them. So that's kind of how it all operates.
And thank you. And another congratulations I meant to say earlier from Joe Pizarczyk. Congratulations. Thank you for all you have done these past years. That's from Joe Pizarczyk. Any other comments for questions for Malcolm? If not, we are looking at 12:54. Our next session will begin at 1 o'clock. And that will be a virtual tour on track 1 and a case study to apply AML Realty for the Lancashire project, and that's track 2. They both start at 1 o'clock, and that's in about 6 minutes. So Malcolm, again,
Andy,
congratulations.
So Andy, one last comment.
Yes.
Well, I'd like to give a special thanks to 2 people that have been key in my career. I mentioned Brent, but also Art Rose is the grandfather of all techies, and I was able to rub shoulders with him enough to learn some things. And also, I'd like to give a special thanks to Dan Samarco. He was my only boss that knew more about my business than I did, but he generally left me alone. And whenever he gave me advice, I always found out it was highly accurate. And so those 2 qualities of giving me timely advice and letting me get my job done were very well appreciated.
And being accurate with the advice as well, correct?
Well, he's one of the most knowledgeable people in the state with acid mine drainage, Dan Samarco.
Yep. And there's wonderful people out there. You mentioned Art Rose, Dan Samarco. They're part of our community, and we're all very, very fortunate to be able to work with them in whatever capacity, because brains the size of planets, you know, and we will definitely be missing you in your capacity at DEP, and we trust that you'll be able to continue working in AMR in our community in perhaps a different capacity in the future. But we really enjoyed your work, and we look forward to more interactions with you in the future. So thanks again, Malcolm. And I think what we will do right now is, Anne, if you want to be able to end the session, then we'll let everyone get ready to go into their next session. How's that sound?
Yep, will do. See everybody at 1 o'clock in your
Thank
session.
you all. Bye-bye.